love monster movies. I love monster movies. I love monster movies. I love monster movies. I love monster movies.
I love monster movies. I love monster movies. I love monster movies. It's cooked! Hello everybody, welcome to Melbourne Musos Face Chook Live. I'll turn the lovely ladies off, they can come back a little bit later. Give me heaven, Tommy. Frank Zappa! My name's Chris Quinlan, how are you tonight? It's Melbourne Musos Face Chook Live. I had a week off. I went to good old Sydney town with some wonderful colleagues. We had a wonderful day, a night and a day. That's what we had, and it was wonderful. Shout out to everybody, all my colleagues there at Musicians Australia. There you go. Oi! Tonight, I'm going to talk about getting around the drums. And I'm also going to marry that into a lovely, wonderful musician by the name of Ruth Underwood, who was Frank Zappa's right-hand lady for many years, especially with arguably one of Frank Zappa's most loved albums, Roxy and Elsewhere, my favourite, amongst many. But you just got to listen to the album; it's just incredible, that kind of thing. Ruth, there you go. That's why. That's why I have the marimba, because she was integral to Frank Zappa's sound through those times. And there you have it. There you go. Very hard to replace that lady, but he did find someone. And but I'll be talking about that. But I'm going to take them out for a second. And go to talking about getting around the drums, you see. Got to have an angle. I was saying that the other week, it comes up, it's Danny Kaye, I believe in White Christmas. I'll back it in as White Christmas with Bing Crosby. You got to have an angle. So I'm going to talk about angles, I'm going to talk about different things. Now the first thing, when you're actually going around the drums and working different things out, you want to have a couple of little techniques happening for you. And there you go. Now, one of the things that I often talk about, especially when getting around the drums, pivot points. Now, what happens is when you're actually seeing some of the great drummers going around, there you go, if we talk about one Mr. Rich, what happens, you've got a pivot point, you see. So what happens, it's a little bit like, which camera shall I use? I'll use this one here and that one there, but it's a little bit like turning on and off a shower tap, like that. Now, you're not doing this if you're going between two drums. What you're actually doing is more like a pivot, like that. You see, got it? Get it? Got it? Good. There you go. So when you say moving between the snare drum and the floor tom, notice I'm not going, Hail Caesar! Sorry. You got that? Lickage. Get it? Got it? Good. There you go. Pivot points, you see, that's what you have. You see, that kind of thing. Now, one little way to work out what a pivot point is and where to put your hand is a fairly simple kind of measurement. All you do is find a contact point with your drum where you're going to hit it. Say there. And then you put the heel of the sticks, the two sticks, the heels together like that. And then what happens is that's where you would put your wrist, because that's where that is. And then you do the pivot. There you go. You get it? Got it. I keep saying that. I'll stop saying it. And then you work that up, you see. That's it. That's a pivot point. I'll get a wriggle on. I've got a few things I want to get through. I've got a whole bunch of stuff. The next one is leading hands. You're leading down the drums or back up the drums. And what happens with leading hands, you can take a leaf out of a concert timpanist's book, okay, concert timpani, because when you have, if I do the 5-piece part of Doris here, there, sort of thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what happens is that a typical timpani setup for an orchestra is 4 timpani from high to low, you see. So I'll take the snares off for a bit. And I might go to mallets, there you go, I'll come back with the others in a minute. There you go. There you go. There's your 4 tones, you see. Now, when you're coming down the drums or down the timpani, you would lead with your right hand. Then, if you're coming up, you would lead with the left. You see? There you go. Now, that's what happens. Now, in timpani, in classical technique, I have it in the book by one William F. Ludwig. Over there, it's a very old book for timpani work, timpani technique. When you're doing that, that is the inside stick, this is the outside stick. When you're coming up, this becomes the inside stick, and that's the outside stick, so it goes down and up, you see. Now, one of the things about timpani is that you tune their notes, you tune them to the notes. Now, generally speaking, the reason there's 4 is because of a basic arpeggio, you see. So what happens is in the most simplest of terms, you've got, say, let's say from the lowest, you've got, say, the root note, you've got the 3rd, the 5th, and the octave. That changes. And for people like Igor Stravinsky, the rates have gone up. What happens is that you might have an extended range. Shostakovich, Dmitri would sometimes have 5, 6 timpani. It depends, you know. And there's things on YouTube where you have solo timpani, and you've got a player surrounded in your kettle drums, mate. Timpani, there you go, and you know you're working it up. Now, because they're notes, they're specific. So you might be doing. Something like that, you see. Now I'll talk about that a little bit. So what happens is that when you're going down the drums and coming back up, you have to know how to change your lead hand, right? So if you're coming down, you're leading with the right, and you're coming up, you're leading with the left. There are 2 ways to do it. What you can do first is just simply the beloved paradiddle. You can put in a double tap down the end. So you could go 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a paradiddle 1, and that changes right, left, right, right, and then you've changed around left, right, left, right, left, right, and paradiddle, paradiddle, paradiddle. There you go, you see, and then you go, off you go, you see. That's the first way to do it. If you're going to keep doing a single stroke roll, the easiest way to change your lead hand is actually putting in an odd number. Okay, so you might get down the drums, and then you might put in a 3 1, 2, 3, change the lead hand. So for this, what are we going to do here? What's that? Nah.
Hippopotamus, 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 hippopotamus.
We'll come back to Gina.
Hippopotamus, 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 hippopotamus,
Hippopotamus, hippopotamus. So what you've got is a 5-syllable word. You've got, say, hippo. I'll count them first. Yeah. So you've got 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3. Change the lead hand. Then you get 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Hippopotamus, hippopotamus, 5-syllable word. Hippopotamus, 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 hippopotamus. Oh, it's nice for that. Get the old love handles happening there. Oi! Where are we here?
Hippopotamus, 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 hippopotamus.
Then that's 7. I'm having fun. And there you go. So you got Gina Lala Brigida, Gina Lala Brigida, Gina Lala Brigida, Gina Lala Brigida. Now, you're probably thinking, when am I ever going to play in 5? When am I going to play in 7? You see, what starts to happen then is that you can morph the numbers into a typical, say a 4-beat fill-in. So you might go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Gina Lola You see, so you just morph the numbers. You see, so if you're doing semiquavers, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1, 16 notes is what you have there, and then what happens is you just do the numbers. So you could do anything you like. So if you're doing 5s, hippopotamus, hippopotami, plural. You've got 2 5s and a 6 if you like. So you could go 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. Just hang down there. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. Oh, there you go. You see, there's that. So that's how you change the lead hands, you see. Get it? Good. So what happens then is that you can start using different angles and different little patterns around your playing, you see. So I'm going to go back to the mallets a little bit. I'm mixing it between the sticks and the mallets a little bit. The reason for the mallets, you can just sit there and just get the tones, you know. Squares are the first one. Right hand just going around, there's a pivot, it's almost like that. Pivot. There it is there. Do it with the left hand. Stir in the pot. There it is. There you go. And what happens then, there's your squares. You can do that with double strokes. You can do it with all sorts of different things there. It's wonderful, I tells you. Now, one of the things that I came up with, or came up in my development, was the L shape, you see. Because back in the early 70s, who remembers the Joel Rothman books? Recipes around the drum kit with paradiddles and all this stuff. Little tiny booklets, they were little teaching books that old H used to say, yeah, play through this, I'll be back in a few minutes. There you go. Feed your Jew, say hello to your mum. And what would happen, you just had, like, who remember, I mention it quite often, but syncopation. I'm not going to put it up there. I'd probably give everyone a heart attack. But what goes on is that you have accents. So if you've got, say, I remember that one. Triplets. And any right-hand accent, floor tom, any left-hand accent, high tom. Or in this case, tom 2, if you want to think like that. L shape. Paradiddle. Maybe. See? Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Get it? A. Wax on, wax off, one. Wax on, wax off. When you're doing things like that, there you have it. Now, what happens then? I'm getting a wriggle on because I still want to talk about Ruth Underwood. What happens, you also have right side, left side. So what goes on is you can do little exercises where the right hand takes the mid tom and floor tom, left hand takes the high tom and the snare. There's a paradiddle, and Josh Fries, the drummer, calls that things like that the running man lick, I believe, in an old Modern Drummer magazine. There you go. So, and you're just learning to move. You see, what happens is when you're playing all your rudiments and things, you've got your vertical, and what we're really dealing with at the moment is the horizontal. Get it? Ah. There it is. Oh. So there's your right side, left side. Then you can have, I'm moving it around a little bit there, but you could have the upper and the lower. You see? Ah! So you go, oh, come on, Chris. Stick to the, and you just give yourself, well, there's the Dirty Harry kind of thing that I often bring up. Man's guts to know his limitations. There it is. There you go.
Man's got to know his limitations.
Then you can change. Oh, sorry. What have I done? Yeah, up and on. Changing leads, which I've just explained. So you could have. Isn't that the banana splits? It's an old cartoon. Na 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 na. See? Now, when you're doing changing leads, you can work it to however many drums you might have in front of you. You see. Now, when we're dealing with things like Roxy and elsewhere with the wonderful Frank Zappa. He had two drummers for this album, Ralph Humphrey, who I did a show on because he's since passed away, R.I.P. Ralph, but still with us is Chester Thompson. And he had the wonderful Pearl Diner family kit, the concert toms, and it was basically 8 tom-toms wrapped around that he also moved on to Genesis with after that. He also did that with Weather Report, Black Market album. There you go. And what would happen is, because it's 8 toms, there's your scale. You see, you can tune your drums to a scale, the full major scale if you wanted to, whatever. And then what happens is that when you're doing, say, changing leads and you're working up and down the toms, your limitation is wherever you want to stop. So you could start with here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. See, I'm just doing 3 on the end, you see. there you go. So when you've got things like that, there it is. Now what happens then is that you've got your changing leads then. One of the little things that I love doing is the diagonal. So what happens is you go... So what you have is essentially 6 notes. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Diagonals because you've got a snare, then a mid-tom, and then with the left, that's your right hand, and then the left hand has the high tom, in this case tom 2, down to the floor tom there, like that. It's always been diagonals for so many years, decades and decades. It's a little exercise of wonderful. It's probably one of my favourite things. It's often known when you're having a look at the YouTuberies as the X-Fill. Dun, 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 dun. Because it's X, making an X. So it's 6. Give it a whirl. So you got 1, 2, 3. Then the only trick, it's not a trick, it's just a technique, is that with your right hand, you just want to just twist a little to give your left hand enough room to move down. If you keep it like that, you're going to be in a bit of trouble. Do you see? See what's going on? So what you have is 1, 2, twist. Not a big twist, you're not doing that or anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now because it's 6, it's a wonderful little triplet idea. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... Now when you're actually sort of wanting to do things like that, you could go back into double stroke roll. Going back home to the village of the sun, holding back Parkdale where the palms run. I thought Village of the Sun, Roxy and Elsewhere album. Hey, there you go. There's your diagonals. Now, if you want to be a bit of a show pony, you got to do the crossover. You got to over, under, over, under, over. You see that kind of thing there. There it is. There's your crossovers. You've got to do that. Oh, look. This isn't scripted. What's scripted? Hello, boys. Ruth Underwood is still with us, and she's a wonderful lady. And she's mine, oh mine. What's that? She's a wonder. It's Randy Skowskit by the Monkees. There we go. Why did I do that? Ruth Underwood. Ruth Underwood, born Ruth Komenov, May 23rd, 1946, and still with us. Mwah. Is an American musician best known for playing xylophone, marimba, vibraphone, and other percussion instruments in Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. Hello. There you go. Ooh! She collaborated with the Mothers of Invention from 1968 to 1977. There you have it, life and career. Underwood began her music training in the classical tradition, studying both at Ithaca College under Warren Benson and at Juilliard under Saul Goodman, very popular name there, and Morris Goldenberg. I've got 2 of his books over there, snare drum. Throughout 1967, she kept a regular attendance at the Garrick Theatre in New York City when Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention were the resident band. This resulted in her association with Zappa beginning in December 1967. Here's a quote from her. Lips together, Chris. Oh, I was probably one of those rather stiff people from the suburbs. I think some of us did understand, and we kept coming back for more and more. Oi, and more. I remember, 3 mores. I remember being very upset when they finally finished their stint at the Garrick Theatre and went back to LA. I felt as if the real heart had gone out of New York City, and I had to get back on with my conservatory music training life, which seemed very dull after this. In May 1969, she married keyboardist saxophonist Ian Underwood, a fellow Zappa musician. They divorced in 1986. Professionally, she used both her birth name, Ruth Komenov, and her married name. Underwood performed in more than 30 recordings, count 'em, with Zappa or Mothers. Examples of her virtuosity can be heard on tracks including the Rollo interior interlude from St. Alfonso's Pancake Breakfast on the Apostrophe album, 1974. Other work is documented on Roxy and elsewhere. And on Inca Roads, the opening track on One Size Fits All, 1975, Underwood can be heard, though not seen, in the soundtrack of the Zappa movie 200 Motels and the Double Room Special, and a token of his extreme. She also features in the film of the Roxy Performances, 2015. There you go. That's enough of that. Oh, wonderful. Now what happens? If I take the snares off and go to the mallets a little bit, that's a very common Zappa lick, and you have to have hands of steel to be able to play it. I better get a wriggle on now. I think I've done everything. Oh, I'm not too bad on the old time there. So I hope you like what I'm doing here. Oh, there's some wonderful tracks on Roxy and elsewhere. Ruth Underwood at her absolute best. He loves fives.
I love monster movies. 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 I love monster movies.
So
I love monster movies. I love monster movies. I love monster movies.
My name is Chris Quinlan. Thank you for watching Melbourne Musos Facebook Live. I'll have this up, the 4-camera shoot. Tomorrow, when I'm back home. Love you all.
I love monster movies.
Go Blues!
I love monster movies. I love
it's cooked.
Movies.
Oh my lord!
I love monster movies. I love monster movies. I love monster movies. movies. I love monster movies. I love monster movies. I love monster movies.